we're back.
We're
balancing.
Here we go.
Exactly.
GC.
So, first, before we talk balancing,
Yes.
it's a surprise to you, so don't worry about it.
Oh, no.
I just want to say we've had 4 new people coming to the Warriors Den
Yes.
today, right? We've had Marina. I didn't
Yeah.
mess up her name this time.
No.
We've had Aiden. We've had Marie-Ève. We've had Pascal. First time they were here,
We
amazing.
killed it.
I'm super stoked. We have amazing people on the team. It's
Yeah,
great.
they did
And
crush it, to be fair.
I love when we're able to showcase new people that have
Yeah.
never been here before, right?
It's
That's super cool. All right, so let's do
Balancing,
balancing. Yeah, let's do balancing
It's
now, right?
happening.
Yeah,
It's
I just want to give
happening.
props because
No, I mean,
I'm
it's
super proud of it.
it's worth.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Okay, so well, balancing. Well, we have patch notes, but we'll talk about something else a little bit earlier.
Whoop.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No worry about it. So first, super quick recap of the Highlander testing ground.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So we got a lot of feedback from it.
Mhm.
It wasn't all positive, but it wasn't all negative.
It's good to have negative feedback
good to
as
have
well,
negative
like
feedback as well.
constructive feedback. Let's
Exactly,
call them that
right?
way, because
That's the
we
point.
need them.
We have nothing to announce for now. Just want to say it concluded not that long ago. We gathered a ton of feedback. We're looking through it, pouring through it, seeing what we're gonna do.
Nice.
When we have more information, we'll give it. But for now, it just but it was great. I'm super
Yeah.
happy that there's things that players were like, yeah, this isn't too good. This is amazing, and trying to gauge the response to it is always
Yeah.
like it's a challenge, but it's always good to have.
There's a lot of TG also all the time, so it's okay if we take
So
time
it's a
to
work in
just
progress
work
still.
on like some of them
Of
just
course,
longer.
That's the point of it too, right?
That's the
So,
point of it.
yeah, so that works
Exactly.
really well.
But we do have other stuff. That's coming up.
Yeah. So now,
We
like
just saw.
Max teased it, but it's fine. So if you remember a
Yes.
couple of not the last TG, the one before,
One before?
one before,
I think
right? We did test something with bash speeds,
Yes.
right? So essentially, what we had tested in that testing ground is we took different heroes and we tried different speeds for their front dodge bashes, right? Not charged. So for most heroes that have them, and we tried we put them in different buckets. So we had bash heroes that only had a bash, heroes that had a bash with a feintable heavy, heroes that had a bash with
Nice.
an unfeintable attack, right? So just to try to get a good sample of what the possibilities are. And then in each of those buckets, we tried different speeds to go, does this need to be 466, 433, or 400 at 300 in the front dodge? So to make sure that we kind of had a lot of data. And what we found out through our data and through some analyses that I've gotten from community players, you know who you are, so thank you, that essentially we had numbers where the difference from 500 to 466 MS was pronounced. So if we, by speeding them up by 33 MS, those bashes landed more often. Then we tried 466 to 433. They still landed more often.
It's going to shake up the tier lists.
But then the funny thing happened, 433 to 400, which was, I was kind of expecting it, but it's nice to have confirmation there.
Of course.
433 to 400, zero change. Absolutely
Even if it's
nothing.
the same,
Even if it's the same, there was absolutely no change in hit rates. So this tells us a couple things. And this was, by the way, across all 3 buckets, right? Whether it's just a bash or whatever else other options happen. So because of this, the end result is they're all 433 now, right?
Yeah.
And I know people go we're standardizing, but this is an actual good standardization to have because it means that your bash is going to land more effectively against everyone. It doesn't matter if you're facing a reaction monster that is 18 and chugs a lot of energy drinks or whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll still be able to land bashes against them, whereas before it would have been a lot more challenging.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I
the
like
other
this
thing that we
change.
did
I'm all
that
for
we
it.
looked at was, do we adjust the time from which you can perform a bash from front dodge, right? So we had done from 300 MS to 500 MS. You front dodge, you dodge forward, right? And when you press guard break, and the earliest it can come out was at 300, and the latest it can come out is at 500. It gives you mix-ups. If you delay it a little bit, you get guard break out of it at the end of whatever. But I know that a lot of our more pro players asked to put this at 366 and the bash is at 433. So the end result would be that it would still land at 800 milliseconds into the dodge.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because 3 plus 5 equals 8. So we've tried that, and we had 2 things come out of that. First of all, there was a worry about frame advantage, which could have caused issues with, let's say, I'm getting frame advantage and I do a front dodge bash, and if this is coming too early, then I can or can't get interrupted, all that sort of stuff. We did a lot of tests there, and it turns out that 433 is almost a magic number, because at 433 there's thresholds that we don't hit that we would have hit at 400. So because of this, we can leave it at 433, and we don't really have a problem there, and
That's
be at
good.
300 in the front dodge. So that's great. And the second thing is, it felt really bad to delay that further by another 66 ms. Right? You would do it. The game feels unresponsive. It's not super good there. Like, oh yeah,
The next tier list is going to be
If
interesting.
you're delaying it manually, it feels good because I'm doing front dodge and I press the button and it comes out immediately when you're delaying it.
Yeah.
But if you're not delaying it and it comes out super late, it just feels
Feels
really,
off.
really bad.
And do we have exceptions?
Yeah, I'm all for these changes.
So there's
definitely.
one exception to this rule. So we applied this to everybody, to the entire cast that has non-chargeable front dodge bashes, right? It's a lot of words. It's a crazy word salad there. But it's like a lot of heroes have that. Like Warden doesn't, for example. It doesn't apply to Warmonger either because they're chargeable. But for Medjay, so Medjay in Axe mode is underperforming at the moment. So we've decided to leave Medjay to be the only hero that can still do a front dodge bash at 100 ms into their front dodge.
Okay.
This means that we're hoping to see Medjay being able to open up opponents way more.
Max mode, though.
It doesn't guarantee a lot of damage. There's a 9 damage light that comes afterwards, so it's not it's not the highest damage option, but it should help that hero like perform way better in Axe mode. So that was thing there. And then the other thing that we had to adjust as well was Orochi and Tiandi. So Orochi and Tiandi have dodge canceled. A bunch of heroes have dodge canceled, but these two specifically, you can cancel the recovery of whatever you want to do into a dodge. But at the timing that things are at right now, if you did front dodge bash and you cancel the recovery on hit into another front dodge bash, it could not be dodged.
Oh,
So it kind of created infinite situations. So because of this, we delayed those branchings, like the way it chains into it cancels the recovery rather into the dodge by 33 ms, but only on hit. So it won't affect you when you miss or whatever. It's just on hit specifically to make sure we don't have those infinites, and we should be good to go.
You guys don't like
So
Medjay?
That's gonna be like that. That's the interesting part for this year. That we're trying to like adjust
I'm
things.
not
We
a
took
big
our
fan of
time,
it,
right? It took a long time
personally.
for us to get here.
yes.
But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that we were in a good position
Well,
for this.
it
We
is
had
what
a lot
it
of
is.
data to come through, a lot of heroes to adjust, make sure everything was good. We had to check with your team as well.
I'm
to
happy
try
with
to
the
make
bash
sure we're
changes,
good.
though.
Yes, because like
Definitely.
even like
I've wanted
those,
these for a while.
like, 33 millisecond, like kind of affect the animation sometimes,
Yeah.
like the branching. If
Some of the
animation's
reaction
not over,
monsters
And at
didn't
that
want the
speed,
change
it's way
for
bigger,
obvious
right? 'Cause if
reasons.
you
Yeah.
Now they're
go
going to
from
lose more.
500 to 433, it's way more complicated than going from like a second to
Yeah.
933, right?
And sometimes like all those numbers are like, oh my god, there's so much number.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's just me try. Like I'm gonna try it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna see if it's a little bit janky. There's one character that I know we kind of redo a little bit the animation there. It's Kirifall. Because
Yeah.
I know people didn't like it. It wasn't that great, so we we're working on those. We're looking at the characters, so we just like make it a
Exactly.
little
I'm
bit
starving,
better
man. I
on
am
this
so
one,
hungry.
So sneaky fix.
So
But
that's good. So honestly, like we're gonna see how things develop with this. We're hoping that this lets most heroes open up opponents in a much better fashion. It's
Yes.
going to be a lot more consistent. At 433 ms, honestly, like not a lot of people can react to that. If you couldn't react, to the
Whoever
500
donated
before,
$10 before,
this
thank you so much.
essentially changes nothing to you.
okay.
Right? Because you can still react to the dodge
Appreciate
itself.
you.
The dodge is still 300. If you're seeing somebody dodge, they have like 300 there. Then you have like another, like at least 200 ms to be able to dodge. You can usually react 400 ms type of stuff and dodge, so you should be okay. But reacting to the orange part, to the indicator, to all that sort of stuff that players at super high level with crazy reaction times are able to, it is much more difficult for them.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
like I
looking
said before,
forward to
let's
this
say
change.
you go, like say I go because I'm bad, and I start to play, and I end up against like somebody that won like a dual tournament, and I do it, and they always use the
Bean.
dodge. Well, now maybe they won't. I'm gonna catch them once in a while.
Okay.
So
Give you a
that's
chance to
yeah.
look at
It makes the game like to have a bit more of an even playing ground here, right? So that's the important part. And then we're still gonna keep an eye on things. If things become too complicated,
Yes.
if there's impacts that we did not anticipate, because no matter how much
it
things
happened.
can happen,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, of course.
I know pro players have concerns in terms of ganking, so we're gonna keep an eye on that. There might be things coming in the future. I don't know that we look at ganking. So there's
but try that and
Yeah.
leave us your
exactly
feedback
right.
on
Play it,
That's what we
try
need.
it, give us feedback. We're always looking at everything we can get in terms of feedback. There's season surveys that we always I have meetings
That's
every
good, man.
season with the people that like
I'm looking
partial
forward to the
surveys,
changes.
so we get like a good pulse in the community. So
And there's also a good thing like to give a feedback at first when you play.
yeah,
But like continue playing with it.
Yeah.
And
Helps
sometimes it
casual players
changes.
so
The feedback
much.
just
exactly,
change, right?
right? Because often enough, like you're playing something.
But
and
the
then
thing
you're
is,
like,
they
"Oh,
want the
yeah,
game
this
to
is
be
really
more
good," or,
read-based.
This is
Like,
garbage,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever, and it's okay. It's
want the
okay
game
to
to be
have
more
an initial
read-based.
gut reaction
Uh-huh.
and mention it that you like it.
If
or you
someone's
don't
going to
like it.
win a duel,
But
it should
then
be because they made
often
better
enough, and this is
reads,
something
not
we've
because they
noticed
have better
really often. A month in,
reactions or
either nobody
you know,
talks about it
better
anymore
DNA or whatever.
because it stopped being a problem, or you
That's what I
actually
mean.
like you
You
change
should
Gain
win
your
by
mind,
having better
gain
reads.
knowledge about it.
Right?
And go, actually, you know what? This is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it at first. Now I like it. You may still not like it, right? Like
Yeah,
and
no, it's
okay,
fine.
but like you have sometimes we find that like it's normal, right? That we have to give a bit of time for these things to kind of like you let it brew a little bit. You get into it, and then at
No,
some point, you're
Lofi.
like, okay, this
They're
is
still
fine.
gonna be
like
shit.
The same happened with I remember when we removed option selects.
They're still going to
I
be
know
dog
players
shit.
were
As
freaking
always.
out when it happened, right? And then a month in, this is great.
There you go.
Like it makes my life much better. So a lot of
Because we do balancing all the
All the
time.
time,
We keep
right,
an eye
yeah.
on the game. We
Yeah.
keep like balancing, so stuff move around and change. So
yeah, we have people dedicated on the fight team specifically to just
for that.
look out for that sort of stuff. Come up with options, things we can do to balance the game to make sure
There you go.
things are better balanced there. So that's great. There is one thing I need to mention as well that we triple checked yesterday, so it should be good.
Yes.
We had an issue on since we reintegrated the Lawbringer rework, where you could do because it's in the moveset, right? You can do front dodge into a neutral attack, so into a light, into a heavy.
Uh-huh.
And if you buffered it a little bit too quick, it wouldn't come out. So this should be fixed in the coming patch.
Okay.
I think it got skipped in the patch notes for technical reasons, but it's important to mention it. I've seen more and more people mention it on Reddit.
Okay.
It was happening to me because I need
Yeah.
to buffer everything like an idiot. So that's how I do it. But it's like it's important. Like I want to make sure that people know we acknowledge it. I knew it was an issue. We made sure it was going to get patched. So
Perfect.
that's
So
great.
talking about patch note, all
Damn.
this information that
Yeah.
you
Roll on
spoke
next week,
about
man.
All on
gonna
patch
be in the
notes.
patch note available.
Are we
on
gonna
the-
get more
on
patch
our
notes?
site, October
Or is that it?
26th.
Yeah.
So if you want to read it and just go over all
Is it
those
just the
numbers,
bash changes?
do that. Thank you, GC.
Thank you,
I think
Vanessa.
I think it's all for you.
So
We're
no
gonna
character
talk
specific
a little bit
changes?
about maybe tournament stuff right after.
Tournaments.
But
Alright.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
So see you in a few minutes.
Awesome.
Thank you, GC.
All right,
Thank you.
just the bash changes. That's it.